Oh, I just waved and I forgot that half of you are hopefully listening to this if I figure out how to get this on streaming platforms. Hi, guys! Welcome back to the third podcast of Faking It with Arwen Weich. I apologize for the delay. I had a very busy, very filled weekend. A lot happened. Oh, I do not like this. Hold on. That is better. Okay, I'm back. I had a very filled to the brim weekend with a lot happening. It was my brother's birthday. I found out some bad news that I had to fix. I went to some classes and stuff and I just didn't have time to film. My apologies. We're a bit late. So 2 episodes in 1 week. Whoop whoop. Anyways, let's get to today's podcast topic, and that is social media and performance. Before we start though, I just need to tear my hair up because it's time to do my makeup. I'm getting ready for work. Okay, so social media and performance. The reason I wanted to talk about this was because there is a lot of debate in the world about social media, A. And B, sorry. There's a lot of debate about social media, A. And B, I think that whenever it's talked about, it's always in a negative way. But for performers, like myself, like my contract I'm going to go on now in 2 weeks. That's crazy, first of all. But the contract I'm about to embark on in 2 weeks, I found on Facebook. So it can be a very helpful tool, but it can also be very destructive. And my opinion and my hypothesis is we need to find a better balance between the destructiveness and the what am I trying to say? Between the destructiveness and between the actual good of it, and then we will be able to use it more as a tool than what it is currently being used. So let's break that down. Once again, I'm going to be referring to my notes a lot today because I feel like my head is kind of in a scramble today, but we are still here, we are still showing up, and I learned that. In 2026, I'm surrendering. That's my word of the year. It doesn't have to be perfect. There was actually this Instagram post, ironic enough, I saw yesterday, and it's like a bunch of like unprecise, imperfect steps are better than perfect, accurate steps, and it's like building a ladder, and it showed like 1 or 2 steps that were perfectly aligned, and then a whole ladder that was squiff, and that is gorgeous. So here I am in my imperfect state. I'm showing up. Okay, let's get to the actual podcast. So what I find a lot with social media, and what the whole world finds, I'm not unique in this thought pattern, is that it brings a lot of comparison. So it has been found, and I can't bring up any specific research things right now, but you can literally type into Google comparison and social media, and you'll find 200,000 articles. So my opinions expressed are all the articles, all the videos, all the resources I've found over the years that I can remember. Nothing specific or recited. I do apologize. I put in like half an hour of research into this. Should put in more, but we're building imperfect steps, not a perfect ladder. That doesn't work. Anyways, so a lot of social media is comparison. I mean, if you look at the influencers, right? They live the perfect lives, like their skin's always perfect, their nails always perfect, they're always eating right, having the perfect balance between rest and a social life. And that is also very true in the performing industry, especially for me. I'm going to talk about my personal experience. Last year, as I mentioned in my other podcast, I was working overseas as a kids club animator, a dancer, and then eventually assistant. But because I studied with people in the industry, I found myself comparing myself to the graduates a lot of my year. And I think I've mentioned this, but I'm re-mentioning it. And they all had these dream contracts that seemed to be better because, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my contract, but it has its flaws. I'm going back because I can see an opportunity to grow, and I enjoy the personal lifestyle, and I want to treat myself to like 5 years of exploring, traveling, saving up money so that I can grow my career into what I want it to be with a backup of cash. I downed like 20 grapes before filming this. Oh my god. She's back. Okay. So that's my plan. But I found a lot of comparison to my classmates is what I was doing a lot of comparison, like, OMG, why didn't I book this? What did I do wrong? How come I'm here and they're there? And that just wasn't good for me. It brought about a lot of imposter syndrome of, oh, maybe I shouldn't, because there was, I don't know if you remember, but in my first podcast I mentioned there was a limbo of when I should graduate or not. And this whole social media posting definitely brought about the, OMG, I don't know if I should have graduated. And now that I've taken a step back and I'm back off the contract, I realized that they might have had the same experience as me. Because my content, also not to brag, because half of my content wasn't me, it was my roommate who's amazing at social media, and she would just tag me. Very thankful to her. Love you, Daria. I know you're listening. Liebe dich. She was my content extraordinary photographer, hairstylist, German teacher. She was everything. I miss her. But anyways, she was the one who did all the social media posts and I would repost. And to be fair, it looked like a lot of fun. Like, I would post about my off days, I would post about the giggles. I'd rarely post about the bad, if even. I don't think I've posted anything of the bad. Yeah, I've only started doing that recently because I realized this is a problem. But anyways, I realized that maybe the other people and the other contracts are doing the same thing, and they are also like living shitty contracts and are just not posting about it because nobody wants to. And that is really demotivating in life, to realize, like, to think that you're the only one on a shitty contract. So social media, I'm gonna do as I love to do, both sides of the fence today. In essence, social media can be really, really good, or it can be really, really bad, and it's all about what you surround yourself with, what content you follow, and what content you post. So, in the intro of this video, my next point is social media deters or motivates you. If you go online and you see everyone with like hitting all the high notes, they are nailing every scene, every second story they post is them filming a self-tape, it's show reel footage, it's them on like the ships, for example. That was one of my issues, the people on the ships like posting their really cool content, because I just felt like the material I was dancing was a bit too easy to what this sounds like I have such a big head. I promise I don't. Let me finish up. It's just like the material, because I was dancing 8 hours a day almost every single day while I was studying, and like it felt like the material I was dancing in the shows was pretty elementary, and I understand their reasoning for it now. It's because we have a lot of changeovers in dances throughout the season and they want to make it easy. It just didn't feel that great in the moment. So a lot of that made me like doubt, you know? And if you see things like that, it can be pretty demotivating, because you're like, OMG, I'm not there yet. Like, I can't do a triple pirouette landing cleanly. I can't sing Defying Gravity, because everyone and their mother seems to be able to sing that song and I can't. That's a side note. Like, why is everyone, it seems like everyone can like perfectly riff Defying Gravity or like Die on This Hill by Sienna. Like, it just seems like everyone, even civilians in quotation marks, are like able to sing these really difficult songs and I can't. So that was also another challenge. But anyways, if you see all of this content constantly, chances are you can feel pretty demotivated. And I know for sure I felt pretty demotivated because all I saw were these beautiful things and I wasn't achieving them. And I tried to make my content, like my show content, as cool as possible from what I had. And we didn't even have photographers or anything, so it was just like random people filming, or my roommate Daria. And I tried my best to do with what I had, but it still felt like not great. So that's demotivating or deterring you, because then if you see all these beautiful things, you're like, I'm not there yet, I'm never going to get there, I don't want to try. Or social media can be motivating. And that is in the people who are real. And I am going to be honest, I wasn't one of them. Still am not as much as I want to be. I definitely only posted about the highs, I never posted about the lows. So, because being vulnerable on social media is scary. And it feels like if you are, you're like the only one who's doing it. So I haven't started posting the lows yet, but I've started posting the highs with a warning. Like, OMG, I did this and this and this and this today. But also, I was lying on my couch for 4 days before this. So I'm trying to be more realistic with what I post. But I'm not going to, like, post myself lying on the couch. You know what I mean? And I think I am missing a meeting. That's fine. Doesn't pertain to me. Anyways, that was a side note because I just saw a message and I think I forgot about a meeting, but it was more of an informational meeting. We move on because we need to get ready for work. Where was I? Oh, yes. But then social media can also be very motivating. If you find those people that post the pictures of them on their couch, that show something in progress, that don't always just show the perfect end result, but show it from day one. And I have started to try and do that, but nobody's perfect. I'm catching myself, or I have brought more awareness to it, and I'm hoping to get better at it, but I have started to try and like post bloopers on my story, but post the actual thing in my grid, you know? Because in my opinion, being real is amazing, but also possible employers and possible agents and whatever. I already have an agent, but just side note. They look at your social media now. Like every single job I've applied for, no one's asked me for a matric certificate. They have asked me, however, what my social media is, because it is such a powerful tool these days, and we are seeing more and more stunt casting, like influencers who are getting jobs just because they're famous. And what you post is important. So if you post like in your grid, like I'm talking about Instagram, for example, if you post in your main grid all the impressive stuff, that's the thing agents are going to look at. But if you're like, let's say they look at 1 to 2 posts, right? If the first 2 posts are just your bloopers and your fails, they're not going to be interested. So it's still a fine balance I have to find. But yes, I think more people need to show the real side, even if it is just a story. Because I don't know about you, but my Instagram experience is mainly watching stories. Not going to lie to you. Like, I think I spend 80% of my time on Instagram on my stories because there are so many. And I'm part of the problem. I post all my stuff on my stories. Anyways, so that's how it can be motivating, by seeing other people fail and realizing you're not alone. And I'm reading this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's very underground. No one's probably heard of it. Jokes. It's by Mark Manson. And the chapter I'm in, or like one of them that's really stuck out to me, is about failure. And you cannot learn if you don't fail. And you have to admit that you're not always correct. And that is something I think we should bring into social media. Because a lot of people I've seen online are like, oh, I wish I could dance. I just am not skilled enough. And I'm like, cool, of course, not everyone's going to be professional, and some people just don't have it in them because it's more of a mindset than anything. But you can still just do it for fun. And it feels like we are deterring everyone just because we're posting all the good stuff. And like every third scroll you see is like someone on West End or Broadway and they are killing it. And it's like crazy. But then with that being said, this isn't everyone. I've seen a lot of influencers actually and a lot of musical theatre people post about the bad stuff. Like, I forgot her name. I feel terrible. But the one who was in, and now I've forgotten, the Great Gatsby, the lead. She always posts about all the issues she has during New Money. And that I find amazing. Because it's little things like that that remind people that even the greats are human. And that's what we need. Because the greats didn't start off great. They started off like every single day working the same way we do. So that's how social media can be motivating. And I feel I've spent way too much on that topic. Let me just go through what I wanted to say. Yeah. Oh, interesting. I wrote either over motivates. So I have found that if you see all these perfect things and stuff, you can go two ways. You can either completely draw back and not want to touch it at all, or you can get over motivated and work yourself to a point of burnout, which I definitely have been on both sides of it. I had a toxic relationship with work. Hold on, I need to pause this podcast because someone left the gate open. I'll be back. I'm back. What was I talking about? Oh, overmotivated. Yes, I was in a very toxic workflow where I would put work above everything else. I have since improved, not gotten 100%, but improvement is what matters. Anyway, so that's what it can lead to. And that, believe it or not, 17 minutes of my podcast is my first point. Okay, next one. Social media isn't terrible and the end of the world. I think, hot take, I think it can be good and useful. It is just not, not controlled is the wrong word, but it is not monitored enough yet, which makes sense because it's still like, it is like 10-20 years old, but it is still relatively new. And with the world, like the world is changing every single day, it feels, and the rapid speed we're increasing at, we aren't monitoring things well enough in order for it all to be helpful tools. I mean, if you look at cigarettes, people thought they were good for you and prescribed them medically until we found out, oh, hold on, nicotine is bad. So, hot take, social media can be a tool. Like I mentioned in my intro, I got my contract that I'm going on for 8 months on Facebook. And if you follow the right accounts and you use social media correctly, it can be a tool in finding jobs. It can be a tool in getting jobs booked because people look at your social media and they contact you. Or, for example, look at, I use her all the time, but she's so inspiring to me, Hannah Lother. She was working at a Tesco in 2020 during the COVID pandemic, but she was posting on TikTok every day, like, about musical theatre, which she loves. And then out of 2020, like, she becomes popular, she becomes an influencer, and boom. She books, I think 6 was her first contract. No, Heathers. She books Heathers. And then she is brilliant. It's not one of those stunt castings. She is brilliant. And she plays all 3 Heathers in Heathers the Musical. And that is definitely also something we can do. We can use social media to book us things and do the stunt casting, but also make sure you can actually back yourself up. Otherwise, you'll get a lot of hate. And I'm not going to name names because I don't want to be cancelled, but there are multiple instances I can think of where it was stunt casted and it wasn't the best. because they didn't have the actual skills to back themselves up. So if you really want it, go for it and use all the tools you can get along the way. The traditional path, because also the market is becoming so oversaturated with performers, not everyone's going to be able to book jobs the traditional way anymore. So we have to find what works for us, and that is a-okay. If you do an alternative route, it doesn't matter how you get there. It just matters that you enjoy it and that you got there. So, oh yes, you can also use, not just to find jobs, you can also use social media to like educate yourself. So me, for example, I was a dance teacher, so I spent a lot of my time on social media, but I'd maxed it out. Used like following helpful Instagram pages with workouts, with anatomy breakdowns, with dance class ideas. And now it's gotten to a point where I have so many workouts saved on my Instagram that I had to create a Google Sheet where I divided all my workouts by what function they serve. And it's just really cool because now dancers, for example, or singers, like you can find hacks and you can find vocal workouts and things, and you can find like acting scenes, or like, for example, the 2020, like the TikTok actors. Yes, some of it was really, really bad, but also they're still practicing, they're still doing something. It's better than doing nothing. So you can find a lot of things to improve yourself on the thing you consume daily, because everyone does consume it daily, and if you don't, hats off to you, you're stronger than most of the population. I'm proud of you for doing that. Me personally, it's still a struggle. I've set timers, half an hour on Instagram, half an hour on TikTok, and hopefully it goes down. Every day thus far I have reached my limit, but we're getting better. I used to spend like 2 hours on each, so we're getting better, and that's fine. So yes, you can use it as a tool to find helpful things. Next, being perfect on your social media. Like I have mentioned multiple times, I'm guilty of it. I only post the good, and then I post maybe now only recently, and by now only recently I meant a month last year, and now this year, the start of the year, I'll post like I had a bad day, but I still did this. A lot of people are perfect on their social medias, and that creates a lot of self-doubt within. How am I not, getting all these castings? Why am I not having these hectic filled days? Why am I, just going to my one job if I am even employed? Because these days it's really hard, especially with the film like industry crisis in South Africa right now, of people not wanting to come down. It is difficult. It's really, really difficult. And people just seem to be posting about how perfect their lives are, and they're living the dream job, which everyone tends to do, and that's fine. We just need, as a community, come together and try and fix that. Next. Oh. I feel very strongly about this one. With social media, there comes this very annoying and infringing new tool that has made its way through all the meta apps, and that is AI. I am very strongly... Okay, let me monitor what I say closely before the tech bros come after me. I am against AI currently. I think its output isn't worth the input with all the water it's using. If I'm wrong, feel free to educate me, but I think it's like 5 million gallons or something per day. That is crazy, of undrinkable water again. Once again, I saw this on social media, so don't quote me, but this is what I hear. But I do know it uses a lot of water to cool down the computer systems. That is crazy. Secondly, the fact that you can scam people, also crazy. Thirdly, the fact that people will use AI to create art and then not say it's AI, and people are like, oh my goodness, I can never be as good as that. That is terrifying, because we already have so much comparison to the people who are brilliant, and the people who are brilliant work their butts off to get there. They didn't do it through talent or like luck. That was hard work. But now we have AI doing that, and people aren't being told it's AI. Like Teddy Norwood, don't even get me started on her. She isn't great. 100% she isn't great because she's AI. But the more we learn, the better she's going to get. And then people are never going to be able to achieve that. And they're going to think, I'm terrible. I should never pursue this. I'll never be as good. But it's a robot. It's a robot. We are comparing ourselves to a robot. I watched this short film on YouTube called That's AI. It's literally 2 minutes. Would highly recommend. It's this guy doing flips that seem impossible, like impossible. I was watching it and I was like, no, this is surely AI. Like, that's that can't be real. And then it's like this whole bunch of people sitting in a park bench watching it and going, that's AI, that's AI. I look at the description. No AI was made in the using of that video. That's a real human being. And I felt terrible because I had just like convinced myself that a real human being was AI. So that's the negative effect as well. If someone is too good, people are like, oh, that's AI, and they are disqualifying the hard work and the amount of effort that that person has put into getting good. So that is, it falls under the umbrella of social media. I just wanted to quickly add in, I will definitely be making another episode about AI in the arts, but that's one of the topics I just wanted to slide in there. AI is going to negatively impact us on social media. It already has. It already has. Okay, next point is social media, the death of creativity. So, kind of a hot one. A lot of people are now copying, quote unquote, in air quotes, each other. And it could be seen as the death of creativity because you aren't thinking originally, you are just copying. My next point, there are 8 billion of us on the planet. How are you going to think originally every single thought you have? Everything you create is not copied, but it is inspired, right? And I think as long as you credit the person well, and you do admit it is not yours and you're recreating something, I don't see a problem with that. We have opened so many, well, not so many, but we've opened a few TikTok jobs now. Like Mama, Madison Humphrey behind you, and the other one, Minxie or something like that. Their whole job is just recreation. But the creativity of their recreation is what is still creative. Like you can recreate something, but you still have to build the skill set and you still have to, you know, get it done. And if it's a trend, it's your break in. I am following trends and I'm saying if they're trends or not because I just need one or two to break me through and then I've got my social media down. I've got a following. I can post my like original creations. So I think as long, like everything in life, as long as it's not taken overboard and you don't only copy and don't credit, but if you copy and credit or if you recreate and your whole thing is recreating, I think it's fine and it's not the death of creativity. Um, Social media also allows a lot more people to be creative because it's a very low risk platform for a lot of people where they just want to post a cute little singing video for their friends. 100% fine. It's, if anything, for me, encouraging more creativity. I also do think, though, it can be a bombardment of creativity if you follow, like, for say you're an artist and all you want to do is follow our channel, it can be very overwhelming seeing all these amazing artworks. Or if you're a singer and you follow like Cheryl Porter, the Jacobs Vocal Academy, all that, blah, 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 and you hear all these amazing voices, AGT, BGT, and you can't do what they can do, it can be a bombardment. But it can also inspire you. And creativity is inspired. Nothing is a completely original thought because you already have lived a life that is built up through your experiences. So nothing what there's like was a trend where it was like I've never had an original experience. It's just chance. There are so many of us here. Of course no one's going to have an original experience. It's just chance. Your life is original, but your experiences aren't. So, story short, yes and no. Social media is the death and the birth of creativity. There's a new platform. Okay, now let's try and wrap this up in the last 15 minutes. The pros of social media, because I feel like I've been debating both, so let's just narrow it down. The pros of social media: it is a good side hustle. A lot of performers cannot make a sustainable income off of performing, and that is a sad reality. A lot of jobs tend to forget that this isn't a hobby for us, but it's a job for us, and they don't pay well enough. And that today's episode is just technically screwed. That's fine. I'm back. Hello. A lot of the jobs tend to forget that we also need to pay rent. And yes, even though this is a wee job, it's still a job. And a lot of people have to work 3 or 4 jobs. And social media is a good side hustle because you can double it up. I have filmed many TikToks quickly at work. I'm not making any money yet. I did make money off of my YouTube channel, but then I got demotivated. Life happened, burnout, and I stopped posting videos and I got demonetized. I got rid of all the slightly provocative, from my side, it was innocent. It could be taken provocative way content off of my channel, and I noticed my viewers got lost. So I'm having to rebuild everything, but that's fine. It can be a good side hustle. It's depending on what you do, it can be quick, it can be easy. It can bring you some extra income, which you might need just for that pack of 5-minute noodles, you know? So that is a pro in this industry. It can be a good side hustle. It can also be used as a digital progress diary. That's what I want to view my social media as now. I've started a thing on my TikTok, like I said, day, whatever, posting until I book a cruise ship. And the first video, I hadn't danced in a while. I went on like a 2-week holiday, like a 4-week holiday, and I quickly filmed that. I think my gran died before I filmed that. I don't know if it was before or after. No, my gran was still alive when I filmed that. Yes. But like, I filmed a lot of videos and I cannot wait for a year from now to look back at that and go, oh my goodness, look how much you've improved. Be proud of yourself. So it could be a digital diary as well. And I know a lot of my people who are using it as a digital diary, and I'm so proud of them. Because journaling isn't that great for everyone. And a lot of people don't have phone storage, for example. I'm talking the real problems here. A lot of people I know complain about phone storage, and you can't keep all the videos of everything you do. So posting it on social media is a great way to remember. The cons, I'm gonna just list them. Comparison, self-doubt, thinking you're terrible because you aren't on West End. Like I mentioned at the start, comparison is a major thing, and every single Tom, Dick, and Harry seems to be doing amazing, and you aren't. It's not you. It's not you. They probably think the same about you. Self doubt, that's like, it says it for itself. If you see only great things, you're going to start doubting yourself, and all the comparison is going to start making you twyful. That's the Afrikaans word. If you're doing the correct thing, don't listen to those voices. Maybe you're wrong, maybe you're right. Only you will know what you need in your life. Then, this one I feel strongly about, thinking you are shit because you aren't on West End. Whenever, because I used to Uber a lot, and they're like, oh, you're going to the gym, because I'd be in my gym clothes going to uni. I'm like, no, I'm going to study. And they're like, oh, what do you study? And I'm like, dance. And they're like, oh, so I'm going to see you on TV one day. Or I'm like, oh, I'm an actress. Oh, I'll see you on TV. Or you go to a braai and you talk to Umyapi, and Umyapi's like, oh, aren't you like a singer or something? Yeah. When are you going to West End? Or when are you going to be on Broadway? When am I going to see you in Artscape? Without realizing how limited those positions are and how hard people have to fight to get there. And I'm not saying you aren't fighting. You are doing amazing. I'm just saying everyone's fighting. And some people just shine in different areas, and that's fine. But because you follow people to inspire you, from West End. I'm guilty of this. And to inspire you that are on Broadway, people that inspire you that are on cruise ships. I follow them for inspiration, but I do catch myself sometimes going, oh, what did I do wrong? Why am I not there? You are doing everything fine. The world is a floating rock. We are nothing. Enjoy it. Nihilist experience there. Whoopsies. Okay. Finally, to round this off, what do we do now? Arwen, you've said social media is amazing. You said social media is bad. What do I take from this? I don't know. Once again, I'm a 20-year-old who got a microphone for Christmas, who has a lot of opinions. I could be terribly wrong, but I could be terribly right. But here is how I think we should navigate this experience. We should just think. If you are looking at something and you're going, oh my goodness, I'm so bad, just stop. Breathe. Ask yourself, am I actually that bad? Most of the times the answer is no. Or like, if you're seeing someone posting an amazing contract, just think, maybe if I'm friends with them, for example, I should just message them and go, hey, how is it? Is everything fine? Is everything good? Also just a great check-in. Just think critically. Don't just consume and let everything build up. Like, actually take a minute to breathe, realize the world isn't on fire, and it should be fine. Also, if you are feeling like, because a lot of people use social media to relax, I have opinions on that, which I want to express. That's a personal opinion. But if you want to use it to relax, maybe think of creating 2 separate accounts, one for your performance and one for relaxation. And in your, I don't know, set hours, because we don't work 9 to 5, but in your working hours, use your performance account, and in your relaxation hours, use your personal one. Me personally, I'm trying to get off social media, so I'm not going to do this. I also just have built my personal one, which is now my work one as well, too much, and I don't want to go through the admin of having 2 accounts right now. Maybe later in life, but for now I just want to use one. So I'm barely breathing using social media right now. Like, I love it and I hate it. So I don't want to go through the admin right now, creating a new account and having to build that up. So I'm just being more mindful of when I scroll and what I scroll. And that's the essence. Like, just don't endlessly consume. Actually take into account. And like, if you can't remember, there was this thing with like, can you remember what you scrolled 5 posts ago? No, maybe not. Slow down. Just slow down. Also, another thing to remember, potential employers do view your accounts. So if you are posting things that potential employers shouldn't be seeing, maybe create a spam account. I have a spam account. It's private. I don't post anything too embarrassing there. I just am a funny person, I believe. So I like to post my funny life. I don't even think I have logins to that right now. I don't even know what happened to it. But if there are things you want to post which you're like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe just post it to your close friends or to your spam. Remember that you never know who is watching, and you do have a digital footprint. So just be wary of that. But also, the world is a spinning rock. Namaste. Yeah, that is all the advice I have. I probably have more. I just can't think of anything right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a bit of a mess. I do apologize. But once again, very fitting for this theme. We are embracing the mess and we are just being, and we are, being realistic. Yeah, that's all I have to say. If you enjoyed the podcast, please leave some constructive criticism, not critiques. If you want to debate about something, feel free. I am not 100% correct. I am, like I said, a 20-year-old performer who doesn't know what's going on but has a lot of opinions, and I just want to share this experience. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day. If you are listening, thank you so much. If you are watching, I hope you enjoyed the makeup look today. The hair isn't done because I'm sweating. It is so hot in South Africa today. well, not the whole South Africa, but where I am, it is so hot. I am sweating, and I have to wear makeup for my outdoor job. I am going to die. It's just going to sweat off. Anyways, that's why the hair is up, because it's still wet and it's cooling me down. So, yeah. Have a lovely day. See you this week again. Apologies for the late upload. Bye.